Here's a friendly reminder that Westwood One Sports is the exclusive audio home of the NCAA Tournament and the Final Four. But to tip off March Madness, our team will actually be carrying next week's Duke North Carolina game from Cameron Indoor Stadium in Durham. And we're now being joined by the head coach of the number one team in the land. It is Blue Devil coach Jon Scheyer. Jon, whether it was a local hit or while you were trying to watch a Carolina Hurricanes playoff hockey game or otherwise, it's always been appreciated how you've made time for us, including on this new national venture. So thank you and welcome.
Absolutely. Hopefully, we have better luck than the last time I was at the Hurricanes game with how that went. So I take responsibility and glad to be with you.
Last season's Duke team wasn't ranked number one in the country until March the 10th. And then, of course, they went to the Final Four in San Antonio. We often hear coaches like you say, you want to have your team playing its best basketball heading into March. So how close is this team to being what you envisioned when you were building this roster in the offseason?
Well, I think we're closer for sure. This group has grown as much as any group that I've coached, Josh. You know, they've and again, I'm saying this when they were really good at the beginning of the year. But I think the way that we've come together, specifically in the defensive end, has been just a joy to coach. Offensively, I think we're learning what our strengths are even better, individually and collectively. We're getting close. I don't feel we're all the way there by any means, but we're trending in the right direction, and we have to work every day to make sure we keep that edge too.
Going back to last spring briefly, rather than turning the page from your Final Four heartbreak against Houston, you made the decision not to burn the tape, not to turn the page. You immediately rewatched it because you said last summer you wanted to learn from it. And one thing you said you took away from it was wishing you could have prepared your team better. That team was 1-4 in games decided by 6 points or fewer. This team, your record's 5-2 by the same margins. And we heard you on Saturday night even making that point in the press conference. Hey, this team plays really well in close games. What, if anything, has changed in your approach to coaching late game execution?
Well, one, I think it's important to understand. I don't care how good somebody is. You know, I'm fortunate, as you know, Josh. I've coached some special guys, especially the last 2 years with National Player of the Year type guys, right? And they're still in situations they've never been in before. So not that we didn't rehearse last year. I want to double down on how you rehearse those situations in practice, not just doing them, but also, all right, here's what we're looking for and why. How does that feel to you? And trying to get, it's not about how I feel in those moments. It's about how they feel. And so the back and forth conversations, I think, has been really helpful. Also, you need guys that look, it's the last 2 years I've had this. Those guys aren't afraid of the moment either. But I think it's very important to just be on the same page. Here's what we're looking for and why. If they take this away, here's what the counter is, and down the line. So for me, the rehearsal has been really important for us.
Duke coach Jon Scheyer with us here on Westwood One Sports Night. In the spirit of discussing the lengths of your preparation strategies, let's play a quick game of true or false. True or false, you schedule early offseason non-conference home games 2 days apart in order to simulate the one-day preps you'll see in the NCAA tournament.
True.
True or false, despite Michigan and Duke being Nike schools, you requested that you both play with a Wilson ball last weekend rather than a Nike ball because you'll be using Wilson balls in the tournament.
True.
One more, true or false, you scheduled the Michigan game in Washington, D.C. because that's the same building that hosts a regional in the East bracket, and there's a chance you might be playing there in the Sweet 16 or early day.
That's not fully true. It's not fully false. That played a part in it, but also you're looking for neutral ground somewhere in between. And we had played in New York. We had played in Chicago. Naturally, Washington was the right fit for many reasons.
I'm glad the answer was maybe, because that would not be normal behavior, Jon.
I'll admit to you, I don't think I'm normal with my behavior. So I have no problems admitting that, but that's not, I also want to tell you the truth, which it wasn't fully just true and it wasn't fully just false.
A few more quick things. How much have you been following the Rookie of the Year race in the NBA?
Closely.
It's been well documented that Kon and Cooper were roommates last season at Duke.
Yeah.
What role does the coach play in rooming assignments on the road?
They were actually roommates at home. They were roommates the whole year on campus.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, yeah. So they're roommates all year, and so every day those guys, just made each other better, right? The way they're wired, the way they work. So that led to just really good friendship, but also competitiveness. You name it.
In all seriousness, by watching the success they've enjoyed in the best basketball league in the world, in what ways do you think those guys sacrificed in terms of individual production by choosing to play together and play at a place like Duke?
Yeah, well, I think you can definitely say if first of all, if they wanted to score more or average more points here at Duke, they could have done that as well. I mean, Cooper Flagg, man, we had a lot of games where we had big time leads, and Cooper was getting his guys shots. That's what he did. Con, again, it was about winning. So if they wanted to be about stats. Even here, they could have done that. Secondly, of course, they could have gone somewhere else, and it's just about them, and that's it. But they wanted the biggest challenge. That's how those guys are wired. And they weren't afraid of competition within the team, of carving out a role, and they weren't afraid of the target being on their back, being a Duke, and what that means also. But no question, you have to be wired a certain way. And fortunately for me, both those guys wanted the things I'm talking about.
I only got about 30 seconds. Let's play. Let's play perhaps the most important question. Let's close with the most important thing. How fired up that the Cubs signed Alex Bregman this offseason?
I'm glad we're getting to the important stuff. I like where my Cubbies are going. My guy Dansby Swanson, I think, is a big time winner. I love PCA. We got a good thing going. Bregman's going to add. We needed one more bat. I think Bregman's going to help us a lot, and I'm looking forward to seeing him.
Jon Scheyer, we'll see you at Duke Carolina on Westwood One next week. Hopefully at the Final Four on Westwood One as well. Thank you so much for making the time for us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Josh.